everybody. I'm still up here talking, but after this, I promise I am done. So my name is Antoinette, if you were here this morning. And I'm going to talk to you about an experience I had. So I help lead a team of several individual contributors and an e-commerce team. And so I was thinking, like, what does it mean to have, like, the e-com dream team? So a lot of you, by show of hand, how many of you are merchants? Oh, okay, a lot. And agencies? Okay. Or other service providers? Okay, great. So a mix. But a lot of times across the board, we still have team building needs. So, am I going the right way? Okay. So I'm thinking, like, what does it mean to build an e-commerce IT dream team? And why it matters to me is for a medium-sized e-com site, for it to be down for an hour, you might lose $50,000. And so I'm not talking about the giants of the e-commerce world, the Amazons, the Walmarts. I mean, you know, on any given Sunday type business, you could lose $50,000 with your site being down for an hour. And when the site goes down, there is a team of people that will be working together to bring it back up. So while you're thinking about what's happening as you're the business owner, you're losing money, your team's going to be working to bring it back up. So it's important that the team be as effective as they possibly can in doing this. But 75% of cross-functional teams are dysfunctional. Dysfunctionality defined as they miss deadlines, they go over budget, they just generally hate each other. And 46% of new hires fail within the first 18 months. So this is not a problem you can hire your way out of. It's not about finding the unicorn or the right person or the rock star. It's actually about effective team building. So this guy, Michael Jordan, I'm a basketball fan, I don't know if you are, but he's a famous basketball player if you've never heard of him, said that talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. Talent wins games. Teamwork and intelligence win championships. So I'm here to talk to you about building your e-commerce IT dream team. So there is an art and a science to building this team. And I'm Antoinette. Normally I'm a team builder. Today I'm a dream builder. I have 20 years of experience in e-com doing various things, and I'm a certified Adobe Commerce architect. So in terms of team operations, healthier teams pay off in increased revenue. So we talk about typical team setup. I'll talk about that, typical operating models, and then finally, how do I measure my team health? If you're coming to a slide and you see it says something interesting, you don't need to take a picture. At the end, I'll have a QR code. You can download the whole slide deck. Plus, I put together a checklist for you based on some of the principles we discuss here. You can download that too, so you don't need to take notes. You don't need to do anything. You can just enjoy the show or take a nap since it's just after lunch. So typical e-com tech team. I think of it like with a volleyball metaphor, set, spike, point, right? You got your front-end dev, your back-end dev. That's your setup team, right? They get everything lifted up. And then you have your DevOps and QA. They spike it down, so they're going to be on your delivery side. Then you have your point. That's your analytics folks and your project or product managers, right? They're actually tallying, was this good work? Can we count it? Can we make money from it? Okay? So that's your typical e-com team composition. And then the teams can have different operating modes. So I didn't come up with these. I read an article one day called Go Teams. When teams get healthier, the whole organization benefits. And this article, this is what kind of like sparked me in thinking, like, how would I apply this to where I work and what I do? The article itself has really nothing to do with IT or e-commerce or anything like that. But, you know, sometimes you read something and you think, oh, wait, this could have something to do with me. So they talk about the different operating modes that a team has. There's a cycling operating mode. And a cycling team kind of operates like they can each do everything independently. Imagine like Lance Armstrong and the rest of the cyclists that are like in the Tour de France. They are a team, but the success of one member of the team is not completely dependent on the success of every member of the team. In this case, in this mode or this model or this type of team, an individual can be successful. alone. So how does this apply? A lot of times teams are not just one type of thing. Any given team could shift modes. So when your team members are doing things like their day-to-day operations, maybe they're checking emails, or one of them's on the phone with the client, or maybe they're completing timesheets or something like this. This is sort of like they are a team. Like if you're an agency, a lot of times for your business to make money, everybody has to get their timesheets turned in. But it's just fine for one person to turn theirs in. It doesn't prevent someone else from being successful in this arena. In that case, your team is in a cycling operating mode. We also talk about a relay operating mode. This is where the success of the entire team contributes to the final product. Each person must be successful in their segment, but the segments are sequential. So it is possible for one person to be successful while another person can fail. And that will delay the overall success of the team, but if one person is highly successful in their area, it may be possible to compensate for failures in another area. So if your team shifts modes, it would be like a team that is in their design, develop, deliver. So that's your typical agile workflow. A lot of times there's a lot of handoff. First, the site may go through design, then it goes through a build phase, and then finally delivery to the client. Or if you're doing in-house work, similar pattern, but the business stakeholders are your client. So we also have that in case of knowledge transfer. Maybe you have one senior developer transferring something to the junior developer, right? The senior developer can do a great job of knowledge transfer, but if the junior developer isn't ready to receive it, the entire workflow will fail, because the goal of knowledge transfer is to take something somebody smart knows and give it to somebody that is not quite as knowledgeable, or maybe just researching a new skill. So finally, we have a model that is like a rowing team. I don't know if you've ever seen rowing teams in the Olympics or something, but they have to be in perfect sync. They even have somebody standing at the front, keeping everyone in perfect sync. If someone decides not to row, or heaven forbid, rows in the opposite direction, the entire operation will fail. No one on that team can be successful unless everyone is operating in sync. So when a team is shifting into this mode, that's like an emergency support situation. The site has crashed. You have an angry client that needs an immediate response. These are all hands-on-deck scenarios, and that's when you need everyone to work together. Okay, so keep in mind 3 operating modes. You can have one team that always operates in the same mode, or, which is more common, you have teams that shift between different operating modes. Sometimes they're rowing, sometimes they're cycling, sometimes they are on a relay. Okay? So, what the research shows, since this is where we get into the science of it, the research shows that different teams, if it's a team that's always in one operating mode, it would be different teams. Or at different times, the same team has different what they call team health drivers that help them be more likely to be successful. So chances are if you've hired this team, you pay them a salary regardless. Most people in e-com don't necessarily work on performance pay. It's not like necessarily a sales job where you would automatically get a commission based on something. So most of the time you're paying them an hourly rate or a monthly rate or something like that. So it's important that they have built into their context the ability to be successful. So all teams require high health drivers for trust, communication, innovative thinking, and decision making. And for a team of collective individuals, that might be enough. So this would be tasks like calling in to work or just getting at your desk on time. So trust, communication, innovative thinking, and decision making may be enough for a team that operates simply as a collection of individuals, like a sales team, sometimes a marketing team. For a team that operates in sequential segments, they need all 4 of those, plus 3 more health markers: commitment, goals, and recognition. So where this comes in is when you are doing your planning, it's important that the individuals who are on this team, when they're operating in this mode, be committed to the goals and understand the goals. So this is why you want to get your teams involved in the planning. So if you say, hey, project managers, sales team, go off and sell this to our client, or if you have internal project managers say, okay, well, tell the team what they need to do, that is a barrier. So it's important to have them involved very early on. And when they are successful, you need to recognize their success. The reason why is because They need to know that, okay, for example, you're running this segment actually led to the success of the final product. When you're in a relay team, sometimes it can be really difficult to see how your individual segments communicate to the overall success, which is why it's important that you recognize that, in addition to these other health markers. And then finally, we have emergency support mode. It could be a different team or it could be the same team of people, but this is when your team is in crisis mode. It could be maybe someone has just left the team, or it could be something else. What is important, what increases their success, are belonging and role definition. The reason why is that when your team is in this mode or this type of team, everyone has an important role to play. They have to execute at a very high level, and they have to execute immediately. So it's important they know that they belong, and they know that the entire team is depending on what they do. They also have to know exactly what to do. So I have a video I want to play of a team that is operating in this collective mode. So this is what it looks like when a team is in rowing mode and getting it right. Clear 1. Clear 2. Ricky, clear 3. And camera. Clear 1. Couch. And camera.
Straighten her up.
Go 1. 3. Go. TV. Go 1, birthday. Count it. And Ricky. Curtains. Ricky. Dina. Stay. Go. Door 3 out. Close the door. All right, so did you guys see on the left side how much work goes into delivering what the end user saw for me, my right hand side, and then over there on the left side, but for you the opposite. So all of these individuals, right, they had to hit their mark exactly in sequence to get this right. It takes practice, it takes a lot of effort, and everybody has to know that it doesn't matter if your job is to be the body double just bashing something on the wall, or if you are the headline actor that is in the main scene, or you're holding a camera, or maybe your job is just to carry a sofa. Every single role is equally important because all of them have to execute perfectly for you to get the outcome of that scene that actually played in the show. So this is from Kidding. That was an old Showtime show. But this is just an example of what it looks like and what a team can accomplish when everybody is rowing together. So in this article, and I have a link for you, they talk about 17 different health drivers. The number one health driver is trust. If you want to 10x your teams, help them to trust each other. That will get you halfway there. Teams that score above average on trust are 5.1 times more likely to successfully deliver results than those that don't. So let's talk a little bit about resource alignment. So now we understand sort of the context in which a healthy team can exist. Where do you get these people from? So this approach is kind of designed to help you deliver measurable results that significantly impact your business. We talk about different staffing models, different staffing locations, and how to find the best fit for your organization. So we have 3 staffing models here. One is a full-service certified partner. I don't know if everybody was looking around, but agencies, certified partners, raise your hands. All right? So look around, make sure you see them. So this is one option. This is turnkey solution for pretty much anything you need. Anything you need, you go to one of these full-service agencies. They're going to take care of you. So it includes like end-to-end strategy, design, development, QA, hosting. You guys have seen all kinds of amazing features up here. The advantage is that it is a quick start and there's very broad expertise. So if there's something that you or your internal team does not know how to do, chances are one of these full-service agencies will. One of the challenges is that it can be a little bit costly. We also have the in-house team option. So that's where you just hire full-time dedicated employees. Remember that typical dev setup that I showed you at the beginning? That's where you'd hire those folks and bring them in. The advantage is that you have full control. If you are in an industry that requires highly specialized knowledge related to your business, this one could be a good fit for you. However, the challenge is that this is a long-term commitment. Once you hire these people, they work for you. So if there's something that you need done for just 6 weeks, this may not be a great option. Finally, you have assigned staff. That would be a dedicated consultant. Sometimes you can go through a full-service agency and get that, or sometimes you can go through a hiring agency for that. A lot of times there is a lot more cost savings, a lot more flexibility with that. The challenging factor is that it may require additional oversight. Someone inside your organization has to manage these employees. Different staffing locations include onshore, nearshore, and offshore. Onshore is they are physically located in the US or Canada. Nearshore being somewhere in the Americas. The advantage is same time zone, could be a different language though. And then offshore means anywhere in the world. There may be some cost savings there, but then you have the challenge of different time zones. So trying to find the best fit for your organization, well, you look at things like cost, communication control. Do I have a manager internally that can manage these folks? The scalability and expertise. So here I'll ask, is there an organization, is there a merchant here? Of the people that raise their hand as a merchant, is there a merchant here that wants to share which one of these, full service, in-house, or offshore, seems to work for them? Okay. So if we don't have an actual like real life use case we want to talk through, I'll give you an example. So it could be the case that when you're first launching your site, you contract with a full service agency. And then after that, you hire an in-house team to manage your site on an ongoing basis. And then, maybe if you have a big new feature or a big AI integration or something like that, you work with assigned staff for the duration of that project. So the main thing is, in terms of staffing models, it's not one size fits all. You look at the classic project management triangle of scope, time, and cost. And you kind of play with the factors until you find out what works for you. The main thing you want to consider is that this STR model, the scope, time, resources model, scope is a function of time and resources, meaning that the amount of work your team can do depends on how long you have for them to do it and how many contributors you have. So I'm going to kind of wrap up here, talk about some myths and miracles. Myth. The best teams are composed of the best individuals. Doesn't always play out that way. Let's look back at, despite having some of the fastest runners in the world, the 2024 U.S. Men's Olympic Relay Team failed to qualify for the finals. The problem was the handoffs. They were excellent individually, but when it came time for them to work as a team, the delays in actually passing the baton caused them to lose the race. Other teams that were individually slower managed to complete the race faster because they were better at collaboration. The collaborations between individuals was the determining factor there. So keep in mind, the best teams are not always composed of the best or most talented individuals, which is why I constantly say, if you have deliverability problems in your organization or in your agency, you cannot hire your way out of that problem. It is about the context in which your team operates. Myth, the team lead should make all the important decisions for the group. Sometimes that happens, right? What architecture are we going to use? Well, ask the architect. What language should this be written in? There's one person that's deciding all of that. The other team members are just doing stuff. The fact is that teams that excel at decision-making, meaning that they can arrive at decisions faster and that they can get support among team members more intensely, are nearly 3 times more innovative than those that don't. So if you're wondering, well, why are we using this same old thing? Or why isn't my team, picking up AI? It could be that you need to adjust your decision-making model. The DARE model is a specific decision-making model where it is a role-based decision-making model in which every member of a team plays a specific role in decision-making and allows teams to reach a decision faster and thereby move delivery at an accelerated pace. So here's a miracle story I have. Team communications pays off in surprising ways for a small game company. In 2009, Tiny Speck, who's a game development company, set out to launch Glitch, which was intended to be like this massive online sort of role-playing game. You could develop your own characters could interact. This is a game software company. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And ultimately, that plus other factors led to the development of Slack. So why I bring that up is that teams, teams that focus on communication are doing something that has business value outside of just the project that they're working on. So if your team is successful at doing something together, they can do lots of things together, and it's not about one project. One successful project should lead to another. So finally, back to Michael Jordan. He famously had an excellent teammate and also chief competitor in Scottie Pippen. And after he retired at the end of the career, he said, "There is no Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen." So this is one of the greatest of all time, publicly telling all of us that individual excellence occurs in the context of an excellent team. And while the spotlight might shine on one individual, it is the teamwork itself and the contribution of many talented individuals, many dedicated individuals, that actually delivers results. So, Q&A, what is in your dream kit? So I don't know if anybody wants to share what they feel like their dream team would look like, or how they'd get to their dream team, or where you are in your dream team journey. Not yet. Okay, we can talk about it after. But here's the QR code. That's the downloadables, I promise. It's all the slides in the slide deck, plus a team health checklist that I put together that takes into account some of these team health factors, as well as sort of stuffs that into the context of an e-com team.